Happy Mother's Day week to all the incredible moms out there. This is going to be a unique one where very few of us will get to hug our own mothers or even go out and buy cards. But in our family, the homemade card creation game is underway, and like everything else we do, it's all about going big and staying home. I don't know about you, but every time I log on to Facebook or Instagram now, I am bombarded with ads for masks, and I get it. Believe me, I'm wearing a mask the very few times I go out in public, but it is crazy. I haven't searched for it. I haven't bought any, right? I'm the beneficiary of being married to a physician who has a pretty large supply of masks, and we've made our own out of fabric. But yet, every time I log on, in the first 3 minutes Sunday morning when I woke up, I took these screen grabs 31 different mask ads. And these are seemingly different companies. So, what gives? I don't know. We'll try and uncover it this week. Starting with the personal, it seems like all these are COVID related now in some shape or form, for good reason. But as we begin to prepare for a summer that might be without camp for the kids, it's an inevitable next step in a series and a string of cancellations. But now is the time to prepare for things in a way that won't yield the complete mental breakdown of parents and kids alike. So that's why we got a pool. Not a real in-ground, dug-in pool like the kind my parents got in our backyard when I was a kid growing up. That can't happen until my daughter is a stronger swimmer and we have more space and a bigger backyard. Now, we got one of those 10-foot wide wading pools, I guess is what it is. It's like 3 feet deep all the way around with a ladder. We made this decision early, though, which is good because most of the pools are selling out everywhere online, like the ones you can buy on Amazon. But it was a tough decision initially because it's going to kill our grass in that section of the yard, and I love my grass. But if we're going to be without camp and everyone's going to be home again this summer, a backyard pool is absolutely essential. This week's practical delves into the world of understanding our own thoughts, actions, the decisions and behaviors that we make. Now, I'm someone who has learned to alternate between left and right brain tendencies just throughout my professional and even my personal life. But there's a more practical way of looking at this. As human beings, we can break out these into two different types of systems. The first is the impulsive. It's automatic, intuitive. It's a system. Whereas the second is more thoughtful, deliberate, and calculating. Every second of our awake lives, these two systems play off against each other. By default, our brains want to use the minimum amount of energy possible for each task. This is known as the law of least effort. But if the more advanced System 2 uses more energy, our mind won't do it if it thinks it can just get by with System 1. Now, the first step towards making better decisions is just this, knowing the difference. Knowing that our mind uses shortcuts to make quick decisions. The trouble is that our minds, though, tend to overuse them. Applying them in situations for which they aren't suited, it can lead us to make mistakes. The next step is understanding that we absorb information in two different ways. We experience, which records how we feel in the present moment. It asks the question, how does it feel now? And we remember, which records how the entire event unfolded after the fact, asking, how was it? And it dominates our memory. So the third thing we need to be aware of when making decisions is our mental state. In a state of mental strain as opposed to relaxed ease, our awareness is more heightened. And so System 2 is put in charge. System 2 is more ready to double check our judgments than System 1. So although we're far less creative, we'll make fewer mistakes. Now, if you're trying to be creative, you may want to find ways to relax because you're more creative and intuitive when you're in a better mood. When you're in a better mood, the part of the mind that is alert and analytical tends to relax, and that cedes control of your mind to the more intuitive, quicker System 1. which also makes you more creative. For more on this, there's actually a great book that came out like 10 years ago by a guy named Daniel Kahneman called Thinking Fast and Slow. I'll probably not be the first person to tell you this, but I've been underwhelmed by Joe Biden's campaign thus far, being honest. We are clearly in unique times for campaigning, which requires intelligence and discretion, but also some creativity. Joe Biden is at his best when interacting with people who have also experienced tragedy like he has, pain, loss, suffering, disappointment, hardship. And when he does it spontaneously, it resonates. It's real. And that's an obvious challenge right now in these times because Vice President Biden has unique experiences that make him a great candidate for president. He ran the Recovery Act for President Obama in 2009 during the economic crash and the recovery. And he was also Obama's active partner during the other crises of his presidency, like H1N1 pandemic that same year and 2014 Ebola outbreak. But Biden's voice is not cutting through on this crisis, and maybe that's deliberate, but I'm guessing not. His strategy may be to let Trump just keep talking and fail miserably and look like an idiot, but the percentage of Americans who trust what Trump is saying about this crisis is dismally low and falling. We're looking for leadership. Now, the top two former advisors for President Obama, who Biden knows well and they know Biden well, David Axelrod and David Plouffe, have a new op-ed out this week in the New York Times with advice for Joe Biden. And it's that online speeches from his basement aren't going to cut it. Instead, what they're saying is that he has to rethink, reinvent, reimagine ways to repair and return our faith in him as a candidate and as a leader. And for this, he and his team should be looking at what other brands and companies and marketers have done in the midst of this crisis. Double down in digital. So for something professional, we're tying this in with the something political. And that is, what are the lessons that we can learn that we're seeing best work for marketers and brands? First is showing you can add value. It requires actually connecting with your target audience segments in ways that are meaningful and will resonate. So first and foremost, Biden must think like a challenger brand, right? Not a legacy brand. Educate and entertain. Know your brand and create the right platform and content strategy. Shift and expand in digital and create shareable content. Make me want to share your message and content. Now, as much as Trump loves television exposure, his campaign from the beginning has been digital first. The Trump team knows where and how voters get their information and tests a tremendous amount of content to find the winning material that their target audience will consume and share. Trump's surrogates are relentless presences on social media, and he's a presence on Twitter that no one can match. So while TV remains a potent force, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, they're all essential in a COVID-19 world in which candidates travel or can't travel and voter contact will be severely limited. So in many respects, they are the campaign, not an important part of it. Now, Biden trails Trump in following and reach, but his allies more than make up for it. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and the almost rants. Leverage them, motivate them, empower them to be influencers in content creation and amplification. Personalization, humanity, empathy, concern, they matter. Now, Trump is anything but civil, but what's working now on digital platforms is empathy and humanity. So for Biden, with data and insights, with personality, this is Biden's strength. Pivot accordingly. Be relevant. Be quick. Be agile. Don't wait days to defend against negative attacks and allegations and criticism. Trump can't win on his accomplishments, so he's going to attack Biden incessantly, questioning his mental capabilities and his energy. So think like a marketer, and you too can be president of the United States, Mr. Biden. And have a great week.